Hola. Hello, reflection. Here's another video. I'm in the woods right now. Left civilization. Wasn't having it. Just need to ground myself. Be around all these reflections of myself. Find a little spot to sit down. Got some things to say today. The topic of this video is I'm going to be discussing your sense of self, who you think you are, what is I? When you say I, what does that even mean? Came to this little spot. Just got to sit here. Alright. This fucking place is beautiful. Okay. So, the image that we have about ourselves, your ego, your sense of self, your persona, what you identify as, the role you play, the character you are, it's very inaccurate because we only see how we only see ourselves how we were programmed to see. And how we see is how we see everything. How we view everything in life. We were programmed to think inside of a box and only see ourselves a single certain way. There's more to you than what you think. And I'll get into that real quick. But first, let me go deep in this. Now, we don't see ourselves as we are, as we naturally are. We put on a facade, we put on a mask and pretend to be something. We were programmed to see a certain way. We don't see everything as it is. We only see from one side, one perspective. This box mentality. It's all a matter of perspective. Understand that my image of me is the image that I have of myself, of me, is much different from the perspective that you have of me. You think differently of me. See how it's just, there's multiple perspectives. There's every single point of awareness has a different perspective. Your ego stores up is a compilation of stored up energy that you have, stored up information that you have received within the past years, within your past, within your entire past, within your life. It's a compilation of your interactions with life events and things you've experienced while growing up. So, there's also a thing that, a facet, a piece of the ego has called the pain body. And that's where trauma can be stored. That's where pain that is just residual stagnant energy gets stored up inside of you and it starts controlling you. This energy starts manifesting through your ego. Therefore you embody this. Therefore you are living through that energy that's stuck inside of you. That's why you see people and they live with fucking PTSD. It's energy that they have not released yet. They hold on to it. So here's an example of that. Here's an example of the pain body. If you grew up always being put down and never taught to have self-confidence, and you were just bullied and judged and everybody fucking just shit on you, you wouldn't have much of a fully developed sense of self-confidence, sense of, oh, I got this. You would be very shattered. You'd be very vulnerable and weak, and most likely, for most people, you would end up in the victim role. You would end up being a victim to life circumstances and always complaining about why shit doesn't go your way and why, instead of doing anything about it. But anyways, the pain body is just energy that you have accumulated through your entire life that you just have not yet let go of. And it can control you. Your past pains can control you until you let them go and accept them and see them for what they are, instead of holding on to it and thinking negatively of it and just complaining about it. So, think about this. You found your sense of identity through the means of an image. Your mind doesn't understand words. Your subconscious mind, this is the mind that presents the image to you. It only thinks in images. It only projects in images. Gives you an image of yourself, a way of seeing. And while it's important to be able to see yourself as you are and have a self-image, if to be part of this physical realm and this 3D realm, it's important to see yourself as you are, but we've been programmed to believe in an ideology of self-image that is just extremely misleading. Nowadays, you'll see that people are unhappy, always need something to be happy. If you believe that you are empty, if you believe that you are not enough, that nothing is enough, and that you always have to have some sort of external thing to be happy, then that's where it can mislead you. That's an example of it misleading you. Can you see that you are much deeper than just a label? You're much deeper. You're more than an image. It goes deeper than black, white, gay, or straight, or whatever you identify as. Because you feel your existence. You are your existence. You are existence as to the core, to your true being. And although you may not be totally aware of it, you still feel it. You still are it. Okay, so who are you? What does I mean? When you say the word I, what do you mean by that? As of now, you probably only have a thought, only a label, a word to say after that. Oh, I'm 16. But how can you truly know yourself when you just jump to conclusions and assume that what you are is a label given to you by the generations before that have developed this language? You haven't evaluated your true state of being. You just took someone else's word for it. You just took someone else's word for what you are. And what I'm saying is not that you aren't any of these things that you identify as. I'm just trying to tell you that there's more to what there is. When you are unaware of these things, you're too imbalanced and too out of touch to even grasp an understanding of what you actually are. So you just give up. You give up and just settle for the thought. You settle for the label that you identify as. You feel sad, so you say, oh, I'm sad. I'm hateful. I hate everything. I hate my life. And you become it. You identify it and identify as it, and you fully embody it. And that's where it misleads you. So, who are you? Who really are you, and how can you find yourself if you can't answer that question? How can you find yourself? Where do you find yourself? To find yourself, you must listen. You must observe. In order to really get it, you must observe. In order to really see, you must drop all projection. Just exist, just be. And what I mean by that is truly listen. Truly pay attention. And to truly listen is to pay all of your attention. Go sit somewhere. If you want to find yourself, go sit somewhere quiet where you won't be disturbed and observe everything that your mind projects. See through this illusion of yourself. Try to detach from the ego and its non-stop projections and just listen. And when a thought comes, observe all that it shows you. Don't fulfill the thoughts and emotions that it brings. Just focus. Be your awareness. This is where you can start to see the fine line of illusion and delusion in your life. This identification, this image you have of yourself. It's not all that you are. And while you might think that, and while that might be hard to see around and see a possibility that what I'm saying is truth, try it. Try to see through this perspective if you feel that way. If you just focus, if you just be your awareness and stop projecting for a second, just listen in silence, embody the silence. If you were to do that, you then transcend all projection. You transcend all of the ego's things to say and things to do and habits to fulfill and roles to fulfill. You can start to get a sense of control over it. You can start to get a sense of a way of maneuvering through it and being able to see through it when you need to, so it doesn't mislead you and you can use it to your benefit. You can use your ego and shape your ego in a way that doesn't fuck you over the way society has raised us and brought this sort of mentality, this sheep mentality, like don't think for yourself, just do what they tell you to do mindset. And it's all a matter of deconditioning the ego that you have currently. To truly transcend, to truly be happy and be where you would rather be, you have to drop all of your baggage, drop all the things that are not serving you. Then you can live in the state of happiness, because happiness is not only an emotion. Happiness is a way of life. Happiness is a way of being, is a state of being. So if you go deep into this meditation, you'll find that you are this point of awareness. You are what's observing everything. You're a point of awareness watching everything in your life unfold the way it does. Your ego only brings you the thought of the life events that you experience, the thought of what you think you are. And we only identify with the things that we do to give ourselves a sense of security. Ego will hold itself at high standards. Here's an example. Ego will hold itself at high standards in order to feed its self-esteem. You ever meet those people that go around judging people all the time? Why do you think they do that? Most people just do it in order to feel better about themselves. They feed off of other people's energy. They feed off of things. And here are some traits that the ego brings, and some levels of consciousness that the ego brings. So there's pride. Ego prides itself. Here's an example. People who are very into material objects and always, like, you ever see those people on the street who are in super fancy cars and they always like rev their engine just to get attention, and they look around just to get attention, those kinds of things. So it prides itself. It does everything out of fear. It's very attached. It runs off of shame. It runs off of guilt. The need to identify with things, the need to be something other than it truly is, and deep down. And this is what I'm talking about, this sense of security, the need to be something, the need to be something else. The uncomfort with just being, the uncomfort with just being silent and just being your point of awareness. Without identification, this facet of the ego is nothing. It ceases to be. It just stops. Once you shut the ego up, it stops. And the thing the ego will do to keep itself alive is defend its image. This is why people will spend excessive amounts of time fixing their hair or doing makeup in the mirror to protect their self-images. They put on a front because when people project their judgmental thoughts upon them, the ego will do its best to defend. It'll get mad or find some sort of flaw in the other individual to pick at. And this is just a cycle of delusion and ignorance, all based on the lack of your ability to truly be yourself. It's all based on a lack of acceptance. It's all run on that. That being said, ego will act a certain way to look a certain way for others. Go out of its way to look a certain way for others. Pretentious. Always pretentious. And what's behind the ego's defensiveness? What is the reason for it? Why be defensive? It's attachment. We're going deep now. Attachment. That's the root of your suffer. It's your attachments. They keep you on hold. They keep you within the confines of your mind. They keep you from ascending and getting to higher levels of consciousness and truly being awake. It dumbs you down. It makes you go to sleep when you only live through your ego, when you're only acting the way you've been programmed to act. Makes you a slave to your mind. When you're fully identified with your thoughts and your opinions and your feelings and your stances and your perspectives and not able to see through other perspectives and really evaluate and look down upon situations, it makes you a slave, because then you can't see. You're restricted. You're limited. Your sight is limited. And this is why people are so depressed all the time. They're just identified with their perspectives and feelings. Too attached to the external things in their lives. Too busy being caught up in the past or the future to be truly experiencing life for what it actually is. It's all resistance. It's all attachments. And if you don't want to suffer, you must cleanse your energy. You must let go of this stagnant energy that is within you. And you can access that control over your mind through silence. If you just observe your mind and focus. Any emotion, any thought, any belief, any scenario that might come up, just see through it and see it as it is. It's just passing by. And just let it pass by down the river of consciousness, down your stream of consciousness. If you just let it pass by and don't identify with it, you will then be able to do that and implement it into your life. So when something conflicting happens and you feel all fucking angry and all frustrated, you can just let it go and just accept it and just be okay with it and be at peace with it, instead of fucking worrying about it and getting lost in it and stuck in it and living through it again and continuing the cycle of suffer and pain. Silence is how you can access true happiness. Just being content with just being in the present moment, living. All the pain that's stored up in the ego's pain body comes from the past. Worries of the future. Not enough presence. Not enough focus on the present moment. I hope this is helping any of you guys. I feel like this is helping people. When I started discovering this kind of stuff, I really was appreciative and grateful for what I was being shown when I was aware of it. Because then you can start making changes. You can literally create your own reality with your thoughts. If you keep repeating, oh, my life sucks, everything happens against me, I'm a victim, your life is going to suck. You're going to be a victim. Everything's going to happen against you. So, use your thoughts to create your reality. Use your words and the images. You can stimulate and generate images through your subconscious mind and literally create your fucking reality. It's a canvas. Go paint it. Go have fun. Don't be stuck. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe and share. Make sure to share this with anybody that you genuinely care about and want to help in their path. Get them out of their fucking heads and let them see life for what it is, because you can really see through silence. Through silence you get to really see instead of being stuck in delusion. But anyways, I love you all. I am in the state of love with you right now, with myself, as a reflection, as you are just a reflection of me. We are all one being, one spectrum of consciousness portrayed and presented through different perspectives, through different walks of life. Namaste, one love, memes. Peace out, guys. Later, reflection.